It's an official goal of all, let me say, mainline churches, also of the World Council of Churches, that full visible unity is the goal of the ecumenical movement. There cannot be another goal because it's a mandate of our Lord that all may be one. It cannot be only a spiritual, inner worldly, and the harder unity. It must be also have visible signs. And I think we made a lot of achievements in the last 40, 50 years. We did not achieve full goal of church unity. This cannot be because these are difficulties, there are problems, different opinions rooted in the hearts and the tradition of people who cannot override it from one day to another. But if I look back to my own youth, when I was a boy, I never entered the Protestant church. I thought, this is a sin to go in, you have to confess it. And but where we are now, it's a lot of friendship and cooperation going on, a lot of rapprochements we have achieved. We are in a totally new situation, and we have to go on this process. We have not achieved the full unity, and so we should not despair about this goal, but ecumenism is a pilgrimage, is a way to a goal.
Again, as I recall, at the beginning, the idea was that the other denominations would accept or somehow come to realize that the church was the one true church, the Catholic Church was. Is that accurate? First of all, is that perception accurate? And secondly, is that still the premise for the Catholic Church's approach to ecumenism?
Well, we have given up this ecumenism of return. Of course, the Catholic Church is convinced she is a true church of Jesus Christ, but ecumenical dialogue is not only an exchange of intellectual thoughts, it's an exchange of gifts. Every church has its gifts, and we have come to an exchange we can learn from each another. So it's not a one-way street. The Catholic Church has also to move, and the Catholic Church has moved during the Second Vatican Council and after the Second Vatican Council. We learned a lot from our brothers and sisters, the Protestant churches, about the Bible, about the gospel, about preaching and others, and they are learning from us. It's a movement to the future, and so we can come together. And of course, the Catholic Church claims to be the Church of Christ, but it does not say that she's a perfect church. There are also shortcomings and problems. There are sins of the members of the Catholic Church, and so renewal and conversion is a very important point on every side of the dialogue, and so we can go on and come to full visible communion.
Does that mean the Vatican is willing to discuss perhaps changing things like the doctrine of papal infallibility, just to take one example?
No, papal of infallibility in the sense of Vatican I is a dogma. We cannot renounce on it, but we can explain what is meant, what is not meant. There's a lot of misunderstanding going on that every statement of the Pope could be infallible. No, it's not Catholic doctrine. It happens very seldom that the Pope makes an infallible statement, and he cannot dogmaticize his own personal opinions. He can dogmaticize what is the common faith of the Church. And so we have to explain what is meant by it, and how it comes to such statement, how the Church is implied, and so on. And so when we study now the ecumenical documents, there was made also progress in this sense. We did not achieve the agreement, but there are some convergences also on this point, and so we can with hope and courage go on.
Given the splits in other denominations, in the United States alone, as you know, there are great debates within the Methodist Church, the Episcopal Church, and so forth. Is it even possible to talk about Christian unity when there are such splits within denominations on divorce, the role of women, homosexuality, that kind of thing?
Well, it's a big problem now. It's a new situation in ecumenism. Well, we cannot solve the problems of other churches, but we can help them. And when you come to the Anglicanism, we have very good relations with the Archbishop of Canterbury. And often he asks me, please, can you write me your opinion, I can publish it. So we help another church. It's also a kind of ecumenism to find its way. And we are suffering about the internal problem in the Anglican Church, in the Methodist Church. They are suffering often about problems we have also in the Catholic Church. We are not without problems. And so it's a part of ecumenism to help each other. And every church at this moment is confronted with problems between keeping its own identity and being open for the future. That's a struggle everywhere.
Have you noticed that the ongoing investigation in the Roman Catholic Church about priests and sexual abuse of young people has made it more difficult to talk to other denominations?
I had a very good experience. At this time, when this whole discussion was on the high point, I was several times here in the States. And I met one leader from a different church, and the first word he told me that we are sympathetic, we are in solidarity with the Catholic Church. We know very well similar things happens also in our church. There's no reason to be arrogant and to Pharisaic. And the similar happened also from Baptist Church, and they are much more far. I have good relations with them. They said, well, we are in solidarity with you. We know similar things are not. This is not only a privilege of the Catholic Church to have such problems. This is also in our church, and we struggle all with the same problems. And so, in this way, I think it shows a good development that there is also solidarity when another church falls in troubles.
But the Catholic Church did seem to have a unique problem in that offenders were moved by high-ranking prelates in the church to places.
This was a big error, but I could not exclude that such things happens also in other churches. It was an error, of course, and we have excluded such possibilities. Well, we have to confess this error, we have to learn from it, but I have the impression that the Catholic Church here in the States is in a good way in track.
Cardinal Walter Kasper is the president of the Pontifical Council for Promoting Christian Unity. Your Eminence, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, too.